You're a couple of Linderlings from the lost planet of Eternal Treasure.
Lost planet? Eternal Treasure?
Hey, welcome back to ScreenCrush. I'm Ryan Airy, and we have to talk about the mysterious hidden planet of At-Attin from the show Skeleton Crew. We think that we may have solved why this planet is hidden from the rest of the galaxy and the dark truth behind the great work that is happening on the planet and how all of this is going to connect to...
Somehow Palpatine returned.
No, but really, in all seriousness, we think there's an eerie dark reality behind this great work happening on this hidden planet that is going to tie in directly to the Sith cult that came out of nowhere in Rise of Skywalker. And we'll explain how this hidden planet's going to connect to former secret planets we've seen throughout the Star Wars saga, the creation of the clone army, and of course, the resurrection of Palpatine.
Somehow...
Colton, stop playing that.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, and also apparently Doug and Colton have some kind of bet to resolve, so a little later we're going to get into that too. And we're also going to tell you about our new Star Wars inspired parody merch, details about our live show, and of course talk about Skeleton Crew on our free to join Discord. Links for everything are below.
Yeah, that man owes me a shaved head.
Okay, so let's start by breaking down what we know about At-Attin so far. As we learned in episode 2, outsiders don't seem to know much about this planet, and those who have heard of the planet believe it to be a myth.
At-Attin's a myth.
Now, we have a theory on which Star Wars planetary system At-Attin is in, and what its Star Wars Legends counterpart might be. A planet that was ground zero for a battle between the Jedi Knights and space pirates during the Great War with the Sith Empire in the Old Republic. Oh, and also, there are sea dragons.
Wait a minute, back up. You lost me.
Believe me, we're going to get there, but first I want to talk about the secret conspiracy happening on At-Attin to keep the planet's residents from leaving or from having much knowledge about the outside world. When the kids blast into space, they say,
What are those? They're stars. I didn't know there'd be so many.
The cloudy barrier surrounding the planet seemingly acts as a shield that hides At-Attin from the rest of the galaxy, and it hides the rest of the galaxy from At-Attin's residents. I'd assume as the series continues, we'll learn a little bit more about the lore of the planet, and that the children are in all likelihood being lied to. Or perhaps their parents are also being lied to or kept in the dark as to what really transpires on the planet and what their great work is contributing to. Now, a phrase like the great work already sounds super cult-like, like something out of the show Silo or Severance.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, in those shows, just like in Skeleton Crew, we see our characters doing communal work that benefits them as a society while largely being kept in the dark by the higher-ups. In Silo, the characters are just happy to be alive and safe from the dangerous outside world that they know nothing about. But little do they know that the higher-ups running the silo know a dark and hidden truth. The same is true for Severance. Our characters feel lucky to just have a job and, in a blissfully ignorant fashion, do their work for a mysterious and eerie higher purpose.
So I'll never leave here. You'll leave at 5.
This seems to be what's happening on At-Attin. They live in a peaceful suburban society with guaranteed jobs and an affluent lifestyle in exchange for contributing to their society via communal work. Everyone works essentially for the government, and even the students at a young age are primed for their future roles in serving the great work of At-Attin.
Sounds like a bunch of communism to me. I don't like communism.
Do you even know what communism is?
Of course I do, but I'm not gonna say.
Well, you're actually right, and that's something that I've always really enjoyed about Star Wars, the politics. Sure, it's a galaxy far, far away, but it has always mirrored various points in human history. Star Wars provides commentary on our many styles of governance and societal structures here on Earth.
We need a system where the politicians sit down and discuss the problem, agree what's in the best interest of all the people, and then do it.
So I think artifacts like this mural and the stories on Whim's datapad could be propaganda created by the elders of At-Attin to manufacture consent among its people. We can even see a Jedi included here on this mural that likely depicts a fictitious origin for the safe haven known as At-Attin.
Person? Hey, what are you doing?
I am playing Game of Thrones Legends.
Hey, do you always play that game when they cut to me? Person!
Yes, I'm pretty much always playing this game right now. In August, we actually took the Game of Thrones studio tour, and I was on a Game of Thrones Legends talk show on the Deerstalker YouTube channel, where, by the way, I totally kicked ass at trivia. And I have been pretty much playing this game every day ever since.
Yeah, it must be a good game.
Yeah, it really is. See, the game lets you create your own great house by assembling different characters from different eras of Game of Thrones. Right now, I'm trying to get King of the North Jon Snow to level up to 3 stars, and I'm trying to save up all my silver so I can max him out. It's a puzzle RPG where you can upgrade the characters and their weapons, and you can compete against other alliances in tournaments and special events. The Battle of the Bastards event just finished, and I am this close to unlocking One Wound and Caraxus, the Bloodworm. Plus, you can form alliances with your friends, fight dragons together. The game is a lot of fun. I even formed an alliance called ScreenCrush, so you and I can fight dragons together. I think you guys can tell, I really do love this game, and I play it several times a day. And whether you know Game of Thrones or not, this is a lot of fun. So, download Game of Thrones Legends by clicking the link in the description or scan this QR code. Then you'll get 50 gold, 3,000 food, and a daily summon token. Summon tokens are how you unlock special champions, a goal which has now consumed my life. Now, hidden planets with Sith connections are nothing new in the Star Wars universe. In a second, we're going to talk about Kamino and how it connects to At-Attin. But first, I want to talk about 3 secret hidden planets the Disney era alone has given us in addition to At-Attin. First, we had the planet Ahch-To, the planet from the sequel trilogy where Luke was hiding. It was home to the first Jedi Temple and ancient Jedi texts.
Built 1,000 generations ago to keep these, the original Jedi texts.
There's also the mysterious planet from the Acolyte that looked a lot like Ahch-To, but also matched the description of a planet from Star Wars Legends called Baldemnik. In Legends, that's where Darth Plagueis, the Sith Master of Palpatine, spent a lot of time in hiding. And it was on this planet that you could find the lightsaber shorting metal Cortosis.
Cortosis? Handy against lightsabers?
So, while the planet in the Acolyte never officially got a name drop, it's super safe to assume that it was Baldemnik. It's the exact same terrain, both have Cortosis, and Plagueis was, of course, on the planet lurking around. But I think it's possible that we could later discover that Baldemnik and Ahch-To are actually one and the same. Then, of course, there's the planet Exegol.
Exegol does not appear on any star chart, but legend describes it as the hidden world of the Sith.
Exegol was introduced in Rise of Skywalker as essentially one of the home bases of the Sith, and where Palpatine had been hiding and plotting for 3 decades between Return of the Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. It was also home to the Sith cult called the Sith Eternal, which we're going to talk about more here shortly. So, something that Exegol, Baldemnik, and Ahch-To all have in common, besides being strong in the Force, is that these planets cannot be found on any star map. In Force Awakens, they had to track down a special piece of a map to find Luke. And in Rise of Skywalker, they had to use a Sith holocron to find Exegol. And remember, Luke was also looking for this planet.
Luke searched for it for a long time. He nearly found it.
And this all, of course, connects to the planet of Kamino, where the Grand Clone Army of the Republic was created. In Attack of the Clones, Obi-Wan is told that the planet of Kamino that he's searching for does not exist.
It looks like the system you're searching for doesn't exist.
Lost a planet, Master Obi-Wan has.
Palpatine used the clones on Kamino to build his clone army in secret. The same clone army that would be used to slaughter almost every Jedi in existence and deliver the long-sought Revenge of the Sith.
He said it! He said it!
And Palpatine had Dooku wipe the planet from the Jedi records.
Sifo Dyas, Kamino, the clones. I have betrayed everyone.
So I tell you this to make the point that the Sith, Palpatine specifically, are notorious for hiding planets and using entire civilizations, like the Kaminoans, to do his bidding. He's also notorious for playing both sides. He had his public face of Chancellor Palpatine, the leader of the Galactic Republic, and then his Darth Sidious persona, who was the shadow leader of the Separatists. So I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if At-Attin, where they live under the facade of a pre-Clone Wars republic, is a planet where they still love and admire Chancellor Palpatine. Or maybe their planet has been secluded even longer than that and was put together by a Sith Lord predating even Darth Plagueis during the Old Republic era. But either way, we think that the residents of At-Attin are living under the false assumption that they're a part of a galactic republic with Jedi still thriving out there in the galaxy. And we think that the Sith, being the manipulators they are using the stories and hopeful imagery of the Jedi and the Republic to coax these people into doing their bidding.
So like they're building something for the Sith and don't even know it?
Exactly! Now, our first thought was maybe At-Attin's mysterious great work is perfecting cloning technology for Project Necromancer. That's Palpatine's contingency plan for immortality via cloning and essence transfer.
There is nothing of greater importance to secure the future of this empire.
But in shows like The Mandalorian and The Bad Batch, we've already seen planets where this work is being done to resurrect Palpatine. In The Mandalorian, on Navarro, we saw a tank that appeared to contain a botched attempt at creating a Snoke body.
What the?
Remember, in Rise of Skywalker, we saw tanks of Snoke clones on Exegol seemingly created by the Sith Eternal using secrets of the Sith.
Dark science. Cloning. Secrets only the Sith knew.
There's also Wayland from The Bad Batch, where Mount Tantus resides and conducts cloning experimentation for Palpatine. Now, it's possible that At-Attin is yet another planet attempting to harness immortality for the Sith, but another possibility is that they are manufacturing Star Destroyers. Remember, in Rise of Skywalker, we saw this massive fleet of Star Destroyers rise up from the depths of Exegol. This seems to imply that the Star Destroyers were constructed on Exegol but underground. So possibly, however unlikely, At-Attin could be Exegol, but maybe they live on a different part of the planet. Remember, Exegol is home to the Sith Eternal, where a ton of Sith cultists live and serve Darth Sidious in his mission for immortality and unlimited power. And on Exegol, these Sith reside under this temple. Take a close look at the shape of this temple compared to the symbol of At-Attin, and remember this for later. So the symbol of the Sith Eternal is this diamond-like shape. And what is a diamond? Two triangles stacked together. Now, stick with me. Throughout all of Star Wars, triangles have always been associated with the Sith. The Sith Temple in Rebels is a pyramid. The Sith Portal in the World Between Worlds is a triangle. The Sith Holocrons, all triangles. The reason being that a triangle represents a single point standing above all others, which is the ultimate goal of the Sith, power. Now, if we look at this At-Attin symbol, it looks like the reverse of the Sith Eternal Diamond, almost as if the triangles that make the diamond have been flipped, but they are beginning to converge, and when the 2 points reach their respective ends, they create a diamond, symbolizing the Sith's rule of two, a master and an apprentice, one to wield power and one to crave it. We also see this upside-down triangle imagery on Exegol with the levitating temple that we mentioned just a second ago. And if you look at this patch rendition of the At-Attin symbol, it even adopts the diagonal cut and wedges that we see in the Sith Eternal symbol, which creates more triangles and other polygonal and trapezoidal shapes. Exegol is referred to as the Sith's hidden redoubt world, a redoubt being defined as a fortress typically taking on a polygonal shape like the trapezoidal shape of the levitating temple. This patch rendition of the symbol also looks like the Omega symbol, which could be a reference to the Bad Batch character Omega, who has ties to Palpatine's cloning plot. Now, I tell you all this not to necessarily imply that At-Attin has to be Exegol, but we do think that after all of the evidence we've gone over in this video, and more to come, that there is a decent chance that the people of At-Attin could unknowingly be serving the Sith, and are being manipulated and confined as prisoners without even knowing it. And this reveal would have Skeleton Crew follow in the footsteps of other Disney Plus Star Wars shows and their goal to put the somehow in...
Somehow Palpatine returned. Somehow Palpatine returned.
Colton, I told you to stop playing that, but yeah, actually that does remind me, we've got a great Somehow Palpatine Returned shirt and hoodie up on our merch store right now, ScreenCrushMerch.com. Guys, we've also listened to you, and we put all of our best sellers like Original Trilogy on hoodies just in time for cozy winter gear. We've also got lots of other great faraway galaxy designs like Darth Vulcan, Evil Always Triumph Because Good is Dumb, and for the holidays we're also selling bundles at a huge discount. Links are below and you can sign up for our newsletter so you stay up to date on all of our deals, plus be sure to get your Doug Zero ornament.
I don't approve of having my image commercialized in this
And
way.
also, guys, I'm going to quickly mention our live show. We have one more show this year on December 8th in Chicago. Looking forward to meeting you guys, hanging out, nerding out together. But we have 8 shows next year. Tickets for all of that are below. Okay, so Doug, what is this bet you have going on with Colton?
He bet me that you wouldn't be wearing a blue shirt today. And I said if he was right, I'd shave my whole body. But if he was wrong, he had to shave his head.
Colton, why would you make that bet? I always wear this blue shirt. It's my only shirt.
Yeah, but I'm colorblind.
You're not colorblind. I'm colorblind.
Oh, right. Damn.
Hilarious.
Okay, Colton, since you're here, go ahead and tell us about this secret system that you think At-Attin is.
Yeah, and the pirates and the space dragons too.
Oh, sure. Okay, so I love the theory that this planet is connected to the Sith Eternal, and I think that there is a lot to be said about the Sith triangle imagery in the At-Attin logo. But in my research writing this video, I think I slightly lost sight of the fact that this planet is a mystery treasure planet of pirate myth. And that sent me down a whole other rabbit hole that led me to finding the secret system that I think At-Attin could be within. The pirate planet of Drexel. And Drexel has a connection to Jude Law's character counterpart from Star Wars Legends. So, in Star Wars Legends, remember, that's non-canon material, but Lucasfilm has shown that they are very open to bringing Legend stuff into canon. In Legends, there's a system called the Drexel system, and in that system, there is only one planet. It would make sense that on a planet as secluded from the rest of the galaxy as At-Attin, that they too would exist in a system where there is only one planet. And it's also worth mentioning that the Drexel system is in the Lull sector. Now, the Lull sector, like At-Attin, had a barrier that prevented communications from the outside. This barrier also prevented you from crossing it in hyperspace. Now, we know that that's not the case for At-Attin because the kids did indeed travel through hyperspace to leave the system. But there is that barrier, of course, around the planet, and they were in this special ship that could have possibly had clearance of sorts to pass through a system barrier similar to that of the Nihil.
The who?
The Nihil, they're a group of marauders from the High Republic era that were associated with the anti-Jedi group, the Path of the Open Hand, and they are already canon. And in canon, the Nihil had the special knowledge and ability to travel through hyperspace different from everyone else, taking various hidden paths that no one else knew about. So this all connects to how Skeleton Crew could be tying into Lucasfilm's recent exploration of the High Republic era, with their books, comics, and shows like The Acolyte. And I think At-Attin is under the impression that it is still living in that era of the High Republic. And the phrase great work is also pulled straight from the High Republic era. Now, during the events of the war between the Galactic Republic and the Sith Empire, Drexel was featured, and on Drexel there was actually a battle between the Jedi and a clan of space pirates, which I think could be revealed to be the Nihil. Now, in Legends, on the planet of Drexel, there lived these big sentient sea dragons, and the planet was mostly water. But on the planet, there was a ship called the Great Ship, another connection to the Great Work. And it was described as a city ship, meaning that the ship itself was the size of an entire city. Now, this great city ship was created by outlaws who were on the run from the Republic, but years later, the city was colonized and a new civilization was built aboard this old pirate city. And these colonizers used sonic jammers to disrupt any spaceship from entering the planet, causing any entering ships to crash. Sound familiar? We see an advanced suburban-style civilization existing on this planet and under the impression that they are part of the Republic. But as we see out there in the galaxy, this planet is a planet of pirate myth that they believe is home to a great treasure. I think that At-Attin could have been built upon this secret planet. Now, the ship that the kids found from episode 1 could be an old pirate ship from before the Republic colony took over the Great City ship. Or it could be a crashed pirate ship that attempted entry looking for that lost treasure of At-Attin. And this all connects to Jude Law's Force-using character who has another name. Now, this information is already online in an official capacity, but it hasn't actually been said in the show. So, slight spoiler warning in case you don't want to know anything. Alright? Still here? Alright. Jude Law's character is called Crimson Jack. I'm sure we'll hear that name drop in a future episode. Now, Crimson Jack is a pirate from Star Wars Legends who sought treasure in, you guessed it, the Drexel system. And that's where I'm going to leave it for now because, quite frankly, I don't want to spoil myself on what could be next for this awesome show.
That was pretty great. And can I just say how much fun it is to be theorizing about Star Wars again? I have missed it so much and it's probably my favorite part of this job. So guys, let me know, do you think the mysterious planet of At-Attin is connected to the Sith Eternal? Is it connected to the Drexel system and the pirate planet from Legends? Let us know what you think down in the comments below. And huge shout out to Colton who wrote this video. He did a great job. You can find his social links below, and you can also find me on X and Threads, and especially on our free to join Discord server where I love hopping on there and nerding out with you guys all the time. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe and smash that bell for alerts. For ScreenCrush, I'm Ryan Airy.